Hi, I'm Logan T. Smith for Opinion Subject to Change, here to talk about 007 No Time to Die. But first, this episode is not sponsored by Prime Cable's wireless earbuds. As you can tell, the fit in the ear is not always that great. The sound quality is poor, the battery life is fine, and they're very prone to interference. However, they are very cheap. 007 No Time to Die. Now, I have watched many of the 007 movies, not all of them. And this one is not the best, and it's not the worst. It's all right. It's been criticized for a few reasons. One is that the villain is fairly generic, which is definitely true. Another is that the story is kind of full of holes. That is also true, but that's true of every James Bond movie. They're all a little ridiculous. They all have aspects of their plot that make you go, wouldn't it have been easier if they just did this? Or how could the villain possibly have pulled off that insane plan? And this movie has that same type of elements to it as well. But overall, it's a pretty good James Bond movie. It has good action sequences. It has a decent story. It has an interesting villain, not a super compelling one, but a sort of interesting one. It has a fairly good character growth of Bond, if that makes sense, as far as Bond movies go. And it does connect the Craig Bonds reasonably well. It sort of ties it up pretty good. So for what it is, as the sort of end of the Daniel Craig Bond era, I think the movie does quite a good job. I'm sure there will be people that come away from it feeling dissatisfied. I think there are other people that will enjoy it quite a bit. I think some people might even have this end up being their favorite Bond movie. Not mine, but it's up there. It's pretty good. I do quite like it. I'm someone that didn't start watching Bond movies until Daniel Craig was Bond, so I have sort of a perspective that may be different from many other long-term Bond fans. But I think that it does a fair number of things quite well. It looks really nice. That's one thing is here on the disc. It looks great. This claims to be the collector's edition. I'm not so sure how they feel like that's appropriate. It has a slipcover, which at least there's that. But as far as collector's things, there's nothing. It's just the 4K disc and the Blu-ray. There's no insert. There's nothing to make it a collector's edition. This one doesn't even come with the digital copy. So it's sort of one of the least collector's edition-y of anything. There is nothing special about this collector's edition. It's a good movie, though. It is the 25th from this string of Bond movies. The Eon Productions MGM ones. I know there's a few produced by a different production company, but this is the 25th in there. So some people are saying this will be the very last Bond movie, and it may be, although certainly the producers of this anticipate there being more. I suspect there'll be at least a bit of a break, and then a soft reboot, just like, or even a hard reboot. Sort of like every time, like when Daniel Craig came, that was a reboot, so it'll probably reboot again. One of the things I was really concerned about with this movie is that it would be an anti-Bond 007 movie, and it's not. The initial trailer got an intensely negative response, and there's at least one scene in the movie that I suspect was added after the negative response to the initial trailer. Or they had anticipated that negative response to the trailer and had filmed that just in case. But I suspect it was added later and recorded after, because this certain event happens and then it's not referenced in any way for the remainder of the film. So I'd be a little surprised if that was in their original plan. But I think that after that intense backlash, there was some reworking of how the film was going to go to make it more appealing to people who like James Bond. That's one of the problems, I think, with that first trailer, is it seemed like it was a trailer to make a Bond movie for people that didn't like James Bond, which is a ridiculous thing to do. of course, to make a movie for people that don't like that kind of movie, and then make it not be something that the people that like that kind of movie would like, which is what the first trailer for this seemed like was going to do, but it ended up not. I think you should watch this one. If you like James Bond, if you like Daniel Craig as James Bond, I think you should watch No Time to Die. Ain't Nobody Got Time to Die. You should probably watch it. If you like James Bond, if you like Daniel Craig James Bond, I think you should watch this one. It's not my favorite of the Daniel Craig ones. That remains Skyfall, which I know also has ridiculous things in the story, but they all do. Anyways, thank you very much. I think you should watch it if you like James Bond. If you don't like James Bond, you're not going to like this movie. And that's all there is to it. Thank you very much.